Welcome to Queer News Tonight. This is the world's first and only LGBTQ plus daily news television show broadcasting live and available on demand on your favorite streaming channels.
We are proud to announce that YouTube has recognized Queer News Tonight, certified by analytics company vidIQ, as the world's most popular LGBTQ streaming news show. Our queer stories have reached over 10 million views.
We are proud of Queer News Tonight has more YouTube subscribers than any other LGBTQ brand in Florida.
We thank you for watching and supporting our voice in the LGBTQ plus community.
There is no other news program in the LGBTQ world like Queer News Tonight.
It is Monday, March 3rd. We are live and literally out of the closet and into the headlines. So many of your important stories we'll tell this evening on Queer News Tonight.
You're watching Queer News Tonight, the world's first daily LGBTQ evening news show.
Welcome to the world's most important LGBTQ plus evening news show.
Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, is a non-profit 501c3 media company in the same model of PBS and NPR, but designed for the LGBTQ community.
Our nonprofit mission is to support the 11 pillars of our LGBTQ community. We wanted to inform and educate the key issues of lesbian, trans, Latino, Black, healthcare, seniors, students, faith, social justice, business, and queer culture. Help us support our diverse community.
We are part of one of the largest LGBTQ nonprofit media companies in America, Hotspots Magazine and Happening Out Television Network.
In 2025, our magazine is celebrating 40 years of the LGBTQ experience, and Queer News Tonight is celebrating our 5th anniversary with more than 10,000 LGBTQ television stories. We will produce the 25th anniversary of the Stonewall Pride Parade and Festival on June 14th. We present Pride Fete in August and Pride Fort Lauderdale in February. Our magazine, events, television news, talk, and entertainment shows support our mission to educate the LGBTQ and broader community.
In 2025, more than 100 community leader anchors will host this show to support the LGBTQ plus community. Let's meet today's anchors at Queer News Tonight. Let's welcome anchor TriniDaddy. He's a violinist and pianist with the Miami City Ballet and is a program director for the Seminole Theater Players in Homestead. Trini, South Florida Symphony Orchestra is bringing Mozart's Requiem to Miami Beach, Fort Lauderdale, and Key West from March 11th through the 15th. Tell me what's happening.
Well, if you don't know the Mozart Requiem, it is one of the most dramatic works of classical music. It's been featured in so many films, usually when somebody's being stabbed or they're dying or there's something sinister going on. It is not the Mozart of like Eine kleine Nacht music. This is deep, it's heavy, and it's beautiful and painful and sorrowful. All the things that I love in music. I really, really do. Like most people, I think I really love the minor key stuff. It just takes them into a different world. And I just got a call today. They asked me to play the organ on it as well, which I'm not an organist, but they've got a keyboard set up for it. So I'm going to decide tonight whether I'll be the organist on the Requiem, but you guys definitely should come out and see it.
What a masterpiece. And it sounds so incredible because like you said, it's not all like the happy, cheery stuff. It's the dramatic, you know what I mean? The life-altering, da, da, da.
Well, speaking of drama, I noticed I did a little bit of research, and I found that it was originally commissioned by Count Franz von Walsegg, is my understanding, and who intended to pass it off as his own.
Oh,
in memory of
so he
his
tried to
late
steal.
wife. And it was actually Mozart's student, Franz Xavier Zussmayer, who completed the work.
Oh, is the Von your cousin?
I don't know. Didn't get that far in the ancestry, but I thought those were interesting, yeah.
Well, the South Florida Symphony Orchestra will present Masterworks 4, Mozart's Requiem, from March 11th to the 15th across Miami Beach, Fort Lauderdale, and Key West. The event will feature renowned soloists Catherine Henley, soprano, Maggie Renee, mezzo-soprano, Norman Schenkel, tenor, Neil Nelson, bass baritone, and the South Florida Symphony Chorus. The orchestra's stunning performance of Mozart's final masterpiece will captivate audiences in 3 locations. The concerts will take place on Tuesday, March 11th at the New World Center in Miami Beach, Beautiful facility if you can get there. Wednesday, March 12th at the Parker in Fort Lauderdale, another fantastic venue here in Fort Lauderdale. And Saturday, March 15th at the Tennessee Williams Center Theater in Key West if you want to have a wonderful gay old time in Key West. I know I will. All starting at 7:30 p.m. Before the Miami and Fort Lauderdale performances, attendees can enjoy a free pre-concert chat with Dr. Alan Mason, offering a deep dive into the Requiem and its composer 30 minutes before the show. For more information, visit southfloridasymphony.org.
I'm all about it. And I love the fact that it's in 3 locations. So it's not like, you know how we have Fort Lauderdale folk that don't go down to Miami and Miami folk that don't come up to Fort Lauderdale, even though it really is 25 minutes apart? Right? Okay.
Right.
So for you guys, right, they're doing Requiem in 3 different places, and you can even go down to Key West and check it out. But the venues that they're choosing for this are extraordinary.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Beautiful venue.
You know what I mean? It's not like a little gym somewhere. Like, it's the Broward Center, you know, it's the Miami Beach location, the
The
Symphony.
New World Center is probably one
On
of the
Lincoln
most
Road, correct?
state-of-the-art.
Wow.
They have figured out how to take classical music to the 21st century. So they've got these kind of fabric walls around that they project things onto. They've got all kinds of colored lights and things. So it's a pretty dramatic experience if you want to.
I love it.
I do have to admit, though, the first time I heard Mozart was on Bugs Bunny.
As all of us
As all
did.
of us, though,
That
Will.
was my first introduction.
Of course. Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at Mozart's Requiem in Miami Beach, Fort Lauderdale, and Key West from March 11th through the 15th. Let's welcome anchor William Haas. Grrr! Will is a bi-coastal real estate professional and is the past president of South Florida's most popular gay social club, the Bears of South Florida. You know them. So, Will, Naples Pride presents the first ever gala at Naples Grand Beach Resort on April 4th. Tell us what's happening.
So the first annual Naples Pride Gala will take place April 4th at the Naples Grand Beach Resort, and it's a beautiful, beautiful resort. It takes place from 5:30 to 10:30 p.m. This glamorous event themed Taking Back the 20s in grand style promises an unforgettable evening of elegance, diversity, and celebration. Attendees will enjoy liberating cocktails, dazzling performances, and live entertainment. And a decadent dinner, of course. A thrilling auction will also add excitement to the night. The event celebrates the queer community's resilience and vibrance, with a focus on inclusivity, equality, and empowerment. Since its founding in 2017, Naples Pride has worked to create a safe space for programs like free mental health services and scholarships. The gala honors David Goldstein, a champion for equality. Tickets are priced at $4.95, and all proceeds will go to support the Naples Pride Center and its life-changing initiatives. For more details, visit naplespride.org. I'll tell you, I am so happy to be on their board, and this is our first gala, and that'll be a lot of fun. And of course, I'm wearing my tuxedo, and I can't wait.
Oh my God, of course. And listen, this year we need every single pride. Every single pride is important. Every single pride. There is no less than pride, okay? I don't care if it's the block party or if it's Naples Pride. You've got to come out and show support in bunches this year. And especially Naples Pride has had so many issues, even just getting their Naples Pride to happen, correct?
It's amazing. Yeah, the city's fighting us tooth and nail against it. And people forget South Florida, it's not just Fort Lauderdale, Wilton, Manors, Miami. There's a whole other coast of South Florida that we need to support. It's only an hour and a half away, and we need to support our brothers and sisters on both coasts.
No, 100%.
And I love that the 20, I like a theme, but I love the 20s. But when you think about the 20s and the LGBTQ movements, about how much of that started in the 20s, surprisingly. I mean, speakeasy came out of that. You know, that supported the LGBT, Berlin and Paris, and all of them had huge places for the LGBTQ people to meet. So the idea of tying the 20s into it, to me, was like, wow.
Like they used to call it the Roaring
Yeah,
Years,
the Roaring
right?
Years.
Right?
Mhm.
Why do you think, Edward?
Why they called it the Roaring 20s?
Because he was there, obviously.
Okay, bodybuilder. Okay, Bonnie. Wow. See, right when I was missing bodybuilder, she just came through Trini's.
Wait, let me bounce my pecs.
Yeah, But to answer your question, it was a big upheaval of like, new things happening and stuff. So it came in like a roaring 20s, it was kind of like, everything started to change and everything. So I think that's kind of where it got from. I could be wrong, but
and
that's
they lift their skirt ups. Like that's why they were a lot shorter,
The flappers, right?
Yeah.
The flappers?
Yeah. No rebellion there.
I love that.
Exactly. People were dressing differently. They were comfortable. They were starting to learn about bodies and stuff.
Right.
So it was a very fascinating time, but it is such a great theme and what a great cause. And it's such a great spark to really ignite, especially the LGBTQ plus community out on the West Coast too. And we do need to support it, and we need to support more initiatives like this and bring awareness to them, because these grassroots fundraisers are extremely important to our community.
Yes. Didn't you have your first gala also last year?
Well, we've had a gala every year, but we reimagined our gala. So last year was our second year doing it. And so it's, it's kind of taken on its own like theme. And Seminole Hard Rock, who's also one of our sponsors of the chorus, they've put in like, their own kind of niche into it too. So they're going to be our sponsor for the gala this year.
That's awesome. But I mean, that's just a testament to how important, people are like, oh, there's so many galas. These galas are so important. They are certain organizations' biggest fundraiser. That is what gets them by. So that going to Naples Pride Gala will help them with their initiative for their scholarships, but will also help them to put on Naples Pride.
Yes.
So I mean, it's all important.
So be there.
Be there.
Brother Bears, let's go.
Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at the Gala at Naples, a Grand Beach Resort on April 4th. Let's welcome anchor Edward Otto Zielke. He has a successful career in financial marketing and serves as a director of marketing and sponsorship for the Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida. Edward, so GMCSF brings Broadway Blockbusters to the Parker on March 21st, and I am all there as long as you sing something from Rent and something from Wicked. Okay, so tell me what's happening.
Well, your wish is going to come true. Yes, we are. There's a whole mess of them. Yeah. The Gay Men's Chorus of South Florida will be presenting our spring concert on Friday, March 21st at 8 p.m. at the Parker in Fort Lauderdale. The event will honor Broadway's deep connection with the queer community, showcasing songs that have captured the spirit of resilience, love, and identity. The audience can expect electrifying lineup featuring hits from Les Miserables, Company, Into the Woods, Oklahoma, The Book of Mormon, Into the Heights, Rent.
Yay!
And of course, Wicked.
Yay!
Tickets start at $45. So for more details, you can visit gmcsf.org. And, we are so looking forward to this concert. It's been something that, the members and a lot of the community are like, when are you going to do a Broadway review? When are you going to do some Broadway hits? So, we kind of listened to our surveys last year. And so, we're just kind of picked out some of the more anthem themes. We really need some uplifting songs to get us really, motivated for this year, because we got a lot of work to do,
Yes,
and so we're hoping that will inspire, people to, put on their shoes and just get to work, because and we're your iTunes of your in your playlist.
So a couple of things, like for many in LGBTQ, we have run to musicals as a safe space, right? As a or like be a theater kid, you run to the theater club because you know that the rest of the LGBTQ people are there, So as a kid, I grew up in Jersey like you did, and so I would cut school and go into the city and go see a Broadway show. Like that was me cutting school, And I just remember that sitting there listening to Les Mis or Rent or whatever it is would take me to another place where it was okay to be gay, where it was okay to be me, where it was okay to be different, right? And it would just catapult you there. And then I would try to get the tapes or somebody to get me the soundtrack, because, then you could take that with you, Now as an adult, and I'm like, Wicked comes out, and now everybody thinks that they could freaking sing Defying Gravity, right? I love to go to karaoke. Folks, if you could sing, you should not be going to karaoke. Leave karaoke to drunk people that can't sing, okay? That is the only place that they could do and be on stage, all right? Leave it to the professionals to sing these songs in this kind of way. You go to Broward, you go to the Broward Center to see you guys sing these incredible songs like they should be sung, like they were made to be sung. But
with our own little gay twist to it. You know what I mean? Because we got to personalize it a little bit. But I mean, these are going to be such wonderful songs. I'm so excited for everybody to hear it. I think it's going to be the uplift that this community in South Florida needs. Just to get us back into shape.
And also, it's a great moderating force, because even people who are not the most supportive of the LGBTQ community, they like Broadway too.
That's true.
And they come out to concerts.
Yep.
They spend that money. So, I've been seeing a lot of Broadway reviews. They just had the Broadway rave in Miami and Wynwood last week. So, the more we can put on the music, the art, showing people what we contribute to society. Like, if you want to put us in a corner, you're going to be losing out. Everybody's losing out on this. So, just uplifting our gay actors or writers, and to see what the world, how much we bring, how much value we have in this world.
And you were so right to say it's such a great crossover for, the straight community and people that are theater friendly, that, that will definitely look at this and say, wow, these songs I've heard, but I never really heard it this way and really sung this way. So it's good interpretations and stuff. So that's definitely variety you'll get at the show.
I love that. Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at Broadway Blockbusters on March 21st. Let's welcome back to the table the incredible Von Biggs. You can also see him on the FayWhat show tomorrow morning at 9 a.m., just saying. He is a community outreach coordinator at Holy Cross Health. He's a vice chair of the Ryan White Part A Planning Council and a founding board member of TransEd. So Von, Holy Cross is going to be attending the Wilton Manors Business Association monthly networking mixer. Tell me what's happening.
That's right, Faye. The Wilton Manors Business Association is hosting its monthly networking mixer on Tuesday, March 4th, from 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. at the Van Horn Law Group. The event brings together local business professionals for an evening of networking and collaboration. Attendees will have the opportunity to connect with leaders, entrepreneurs, professionals from various industries. Holy Cross is among the organizations attending, adding to the event's diverse networking opportunities. These mixers, held monthly, aim to strengthen business relationships and foster economic growth in Wilton Manors. For more information, visit wiltonmanorsbusinessassociation.com. It's always great. We've always been involved with a lot of the business associations and the mixers, especially surrounding Wilton Manors, because we're so embedded into that community anyway. So it's great to be able to meet with them and find ways. We always find ways to collaborate, especially when you're dealing with healthcare, of ways that we can work with different organizations to bring that to the table. So it's a great opportunity to do that for anybody who's in business.
Yeah, it's a good organization too. I'm remembering, the events were so much fun, and you do interact with people of all different levels and different businesses, and by learning from other people, you grow yourself. So when you have drinks and you have fun and dinner, and
but you never know who you're going to meet and what kind of collaboration you can have. The Bears of South Florida with the Seminole Players, right? Holy Cross with the Gay Men's Chorus. You just never know what two things will come together and make an extraordinary next event for our LGBTQ folks, or find a way to help LGBTQ folks by collaborating. So I love these mixers. Everybody should come and check it out. Bring your business cards or whatever people do now with their phones. They just go bleep, 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 right? You get all the information in there, including the grinder handle. You're all there, right? Well,
wait a minute.
I've never been, but if you dress up like your Puerto Rican Liberace self again, I will be there.
Done.
There you go. Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you all at the Wilton Manors Business Association monthly networking mixer on March 4th.
And of course, let's welcome tonight's lead anchor, FayWhat. She is a legendary events host, television and radio personality, and the host of Hotspot's Happening Out's The FayWhat Show. Faye, Pub on the Drive will host Toss for Paws on March 8th. Tell me, what's happening?
I'm so excited about this, because I love the Pet Project and I love Sue Marino. So the Pet Project and the Pub are teaming up for Toss for Paws, a cornhole tournament All right. I just learned how to play cornhole like a year and a half ago, so I'm in it. All right. Next is pickleball. Anyway, so a cornhole tournament benefiting pets in need. It doesn't get any better. The event takes place this Saturday, March 8th from 2 to 5 p.m. at the pub. And I'm your host. Participants can compete in the tournament while supporting a great cause. There will also be a raffle that's going to be held, offering attendees a chance to win a 75-inch TV and a whole bunch of other prizes as well. For every $250 raised, participants will receive 2 raffle tickets to increase their chances of winning. For more details, visit the Pet Project, fl.org. So the Pet Project, as you boys all know, that I'm a huge pet lover, and there are 2 pet organizations that I like wholeheartedly support, and one is the Pet Project and the other one is Paw Patrol Rescue and Sanctuary. And you know what Sue does. Oh my God, she is just an incredible, incredible human. She has been executive director of the Pet Project for now 14 years, probably the longest running ED in our, in our midst, so to speak, and she has dedicated her world to helping pets. One of her incredible initiatives that I adore is she fosters out senior pups. Right? So there might be, maybe they're 14 years old, maybe they're 15 years old, right? But they just want a happy life somewhere where they'll need some love and some comforting, and they'll give you back 1,000,000 times love back. And you get all the food you need, all the bowls you need, anything that you need to make sure that your pet is comfortable. Sue and the Pet Project will go and make sure that you have it. All you have to do is just give a dog a home for, however long, sometimes there's different kind of reasons why. Maybe their current foster's going on vacation and you'll just have the pup for a week. Maybe somebody, maybe they need transport. Maybe they need to get better after getting fixed. There's all kinds of scenarios, and Sue connects you with the right pup. Okay. So folks out there, if you want to help a good cause, the Pet Project is it. If you want to come play cornhole with me, come join me on Saturday. It's going to be a lot of fun. I usually take my dog. She bites. It is what it is, but she's gorgeous. She's kind of like her mom. She bites, but she's gorgeous. So you deal with it. You know what I mean? So, but come on out and enjoy. Please come out and hang out with me at the pub this Saturday. You boys all have had pets.
Yep.
You know how much love they give you back.
My dog's my life.
Yep. They're our children.
Yeah.
They really are. I mean, they could be our children. They're our children.
They are
They are.
children. They are.
Well, just when you think FayWhat couldn't be any more of a gay man, she's cornholing on the weekends now. Queer News Tonight looks forward to seeing you at Pub on the Drive's Toss for Paws on March 8th.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ plus story for today. I'm FayWhat, and let's queer up the USA view. How Donald Trump is changing how LGBTQ community and America speak and act. Donald Trump's words and actions have reshaped public discourse and emboldened harmful behaviors across the country. Friday's Oval Office heated exchange between Ukraine's President Zelensky and President Trump and Vice President Vance. Zelensky was shamed for not wearing a suit and being asked if the president even owned one. Experts warned that his rhetoric encourages a culture of cruelty, particularly against marginalized communities, including LGBTQ people. While Trump initially campaigned on reducing the cost of living and targeting violent immigrants, much of his focus has been on dismantling protections for vulnerable groups. From rolling back LGBTQ rights to attacking political opponents with demeaning nicknames, his leadership style thrives on humiliation and division. Mental health professionals are sounding alarms on what we will see from the American community against the LGBTQ community, highlighting his behavior as sadistic. In the dangerous case of Donald Trump, 27 experts assessed the psychological risks he poses, suggesting he needs treatment rather than power. Social learning theory, developed by psychologist Albert Bandura, explains how people, especially youth, adopt behaviors by observing influential figures. Bandura's famous Bobo doll demonstrated that children exposed to aggression modeled by adults were more likely to act aggressively themselves. Trump's behavior mirrors this effect. By openly mocking and degrading others, he legitimizes cruelty, fostering a more hostile society. As one high school student put it, quote, "If anyone in my school acted like Trump, they'd be expelled," end quote. LGBTQ and other minority activists have noted that the second term has so far looked nothing like his first term in 2016. He is only 45 days into the new term, and this is near universal agreement that the dramatic changes seen are unlike anything ever experienced from an American president before. But resistance is growing. Yesterday, the Ukraine president met with European leaders in an emergency meeting in London. When Zelensky arrived at 10 Downing Street, the British Prime Minister, Keir Starmer, made an obvious point to come into the street, walk up to Zelensky, and passionately hug him. He commented later it was an intentional signal as a response to the berating that took place in the Oval Office. By speaking out against Trump's divisive actions, advocates, educators, and everyday Americans are modeling integrity and respect. In doing so, they counteract his influence, striving to reclaim a nation built on justice and equality. What we are watching from the president will have significant effects on the entire LGBTQ plus community and everyone else, I think. I mean, Trump is the ultimate bully. He has shown us that, the last time he was in the presidency, he's doing the same now. It's just elevated to such a higher degree that it's so scary, right? To see Zelensky berated and treated like that, there was no kind of welcoming. There was no kind of grace. There was no, asking him if he's even said thank you and asking him if he had a suit. Like, it was just like there was no respect in the Oval Office. And that's how they treat leaders of other countries. I can only, what do you expect they're going to treat us like? My best friend Michelle is an incredible straight ally, right? And we were talking yesterday because I want her to get married so bad. Gay boys out there, if you have a straight brother, please reach out to me. And she's been having a lot of issues in the sites because a lot of the dating sites, the straight dating sites, the boys are putting conservative, right? As in Trumper. Okay, or they're putting moderate as in Trumper. And then their first lines are, I'm not here to fix your credit or even pay for your first meal. The misogyny is real. Yep. And it's coming from the top. Men that maybe before were like, oh, you got to treat a woman right because I was raised by a woman that, had taught me how to treat a woman with respect, are being shown different lessons from our freaking president and are listening to him, thinking if the higher ups can treat people like this, then I can treat people like this too. He's making bullying okay.
But it's not even just women; it's other men, other people, human beings.
Marginalized communities.
Yeah.
Yes.
Respect for everybody needs to be there.
Yep.
This is just the classic bully in the sandbox. I think about when I was younger and when I was first bullied by somebody larger than me and a community around him also, attacking me just for being different, let's just say. And so, it really kind of lit like a fire because I stood my ground and I stood there and I took it. And I didn't know if just hearing the words and just being mocked at and what did anything for me back then. But today, it resonates with me. So I think, these are the beginnings of the protests that we're going to be starting to see from individual leaders and individual people walking up and just, take your best shot, and I think that I'm inspired by it, and I'm inspired by people that don't take that crap and take the high road and, and organize these protests that we're going to start seeing. We recently saw it locally at Tesla, a group of people starting to get together because they just can't,
they can't do nothing.
Exactly. Mm-hmm. So I think we're going to see more of that and people coming to the defense of President Zelensky and stuff because people identify with that.
Yeah.
I think what it exposes is how synth these men are that are around him. Mm-hmm. Because when you have a guy like Trump, he only thrives if the men around him are little lapdogs. He can't take that kind of opposition.
Yes.
So the fact that all of them know what he's doing is wrong and they're going along with it
and
anyways,
support him. Yeah.
show that they have no backbone and that they're the wimps. And I wrote a piece on how it's really women, the Republican women, who have shown the most courage. It's Liz Cheney who led the rebellion against him. A woman, a Republican woman, conservative woman, other women that have voted against at least one of his, Pete Hegseth was Lisa Murkowski, Susan Collins. Mm-hmm. It's the women that are standing up. And so it's really important. I said something like, instead of saying, grow some balls, maybe we should say grow some ovaries because, I'm really proud of the women, and I think they're showing, ironically, that in this kind of male testosterone, that they're the weak ones. So I think that real men need to grow a pair. Stop calling him daddy. Anybody who refers to Donald Trump as dad's here, dad's, you're just exposing yourself as a freaking sissy.
But did you see, okay, if you looked at the Oval Office when they were berating Zelensky, you can tell that Vance was prepped beforehand. So those mother effers were at a corner saying, okay, this is how we're going to gang up on him. And you're going to say this. You know what I mean? Like, how petty.
And what a simp this dude is, because he knows that as the vice president, he should have more power and more say. And I don't think he was expecting that Musk was actually going to steal all his limelight. So he's like, oh, this is my moment. This is my moment. Let me show that I'm a strong guy. Yeah. And the dude that asked about the suit, I had to look him up. That's Marjorie Taylor Greene's boyfriend.
Is it really?
Yes.
Oh, so that explains a lot then.
Yeah, who's somehow got his press credential in order to be there. Reuters, the Associated Press couldn't be there, but one of the Russian state media was there live streaming. And today they just I think announced while I was driving here that they are Trump ordered Hegseth to now dismantle anything, or he calls it a pause on investigating anything with Russia and cyber terrorism, even though we know that they interfered.
But if you want to talk about his clothes, I'm sorry, Zelensky's outfit was more relatable to most people. He doesn't be in a suit to be professional. Let the guy speak. Both Trump and Vance attacked him.
Yeah.
It was just an attack. It wasn't a conversation. It was just a guy there. Yeah. 2 against 1.
And did Musk look like Run DMC when he was giving his? And then nobody said anything about that. And I think Zelensky started dressing that way once the war started.
Exactly, he
because
did.
It was a show of like, I'm not going to be here in a costume when my people are dying.
Exactly, and that's exactly.
And you can dress any old pig in designer suit, anything you want, but it's still a pig.
Yeah.
I will have to say, I look at it as, how he was received once he left the Oval Office, where they came up and they embraced him and hugged him, to show respect.
In the UK, yeah.
Right. And it's a matter of, and I look at us as LGBTQ people and go, we need to rise above and do the same. Don't get pulled into the fire. Because if we get pulled into it and we want to fight back in the way that he wants us to fight back, we won't win that battle. We've got to find a different way to do that. And that's with a little bit of integrity that we all know we have.
Yeah.
But as you were saying, they need, they should take a different approach. They should have talked to him, because there's difference in attacking versus having
a conversation.
Conversation.
Yeah.
You don't need to agree, but you have a conversation and you act respectful.
Right.
Yeah. Everybody at the table. That's
because
how you
the
win.
purpose of that was to show Putin he's on his side. I am sure he had a conversation with him, like, watch what we're going to do tonight, today at 3 p.m. to show you what we're going to do. It had nothing to do with trying to broker a peace
at all. So that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm TriniDaddy, and let's queer up South Florida and Florida. Pow! A funny thing happened comes to Wilton Manors in the park. A dream 2 years in the making is finally coming true in Wilton Manors. Plays of Wilton is launching its first ever Pow in the Park production with A Funny Thing Happened on the Way to the Forum, a free outdoor musical event at Mickle Park starting March 7th. Thanks to a generous $100,000 donation from the Wharton Foundation and support from the city of Wilton Manors, this Stephen Sondheim classic will be open to all. The POW team said, quote, "We are living in polarizing times, so now let's come together and share an evening of laughs, songs, and great storytelling." The production stars 4-time Carbonell Award-winning actress Laureline Schnedeker as Pseudolus. Audiences can bring their own chairs and blankets with limited seating available. Food and drinks, including alcohol, are welcome. For more details and tickets, visit powinthepark.com. Yes, we need to forget about what's happening in the world right now and have a good time and take care of our mental health, which is so important. So everybody come out to this free event. It's Broadway. Who doesn't like Broadway? Great singers, great dancers, everything. A free event to come out, bring your beach blanket and bring your alcohol. They said alcohol is welcome. Right? Bring your alcohol. They're not going to check your bag. Or maybe they will for security things, but you can bring your alcohol with you. Did I say you can bring your alcohol?
I think you said, you know what? You could bring alcohol.
Oh, okay.
But you still have, sign up for tickets. The tickets are going fast, and they have 2 weekends to fill, so there still are tickets to go. But like Trini said, like grab your friends, grab a blanket, a chair, bring the dog, like
and alcohol.
And alcohol, and bring it, make it a fun event for everybody.
It's free.
And it's free.
You can bring alcohol.
And you can bring alcohol. And did I mention you could bring alcohol? So, I mean, a cooler, some pup subs, and your dog, a blanket, and, this play. I mean, how wonderful is that, right?
And a little mosquito repellent.
And a little mosquito. For Vaughn, because, he's special. And if he's getting bit, then, then the rest of us can't watch a funny thing happen, because he'll be like...
And you know what? Take this opportunity. If you have some friends who are not necessarily politically aligned with you, not 100%, but would enjoy a good time and seeing some great LGBT folks on stage, bring them. You never know what inroads you can make with people for them to understand what we go through as a community and just to see a different side. Because, the conservatives are showing the most crackpot TikTokers in the far dark internet and saying, this is what the trans community is, this is what the gay community is. Show them the good time, the great fun that we can have, and to support us.
Amen.
Absolutely.
So that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm William Haas, and let's square up trans rights. Trump's failure of how many trans troops exist and why we need them to ban them. The Trump administration is pushing to ban transgender service members, but it admits it doesn't even know how many are currently servicing. In a court filing, government lawyers acknowledge the Pentagon does not track troops by gender identity, relying instead on a 2016 RAND study with outdated estimates. The case Talbot versus Trump challenges Trump's ban, which LGBTQ groups argue is based on discrimination, not on data. Officials claim trans troops threaten cohesion and integrity, but fail to cite any evidence. They also argue gender-affirming care is costly, yet records show the Pentagon spent just $52 million in nearly 10-year decade, an insignificant fraction of the military's budget. Lambda Legal CEO Kevin Jennings slammed the administration stance, saying, quote, "This proves that this order is motivated by animus rather than reason." Meanwhile, the Justice Department is attacking the judge overseeing the case, filing a misconduct complaint. Yet military leaders and queer advocates insist trans service members strengthen the military, not weaken it. Judge Anna Reyes will hear the arguments on March 12th. As advocacy groups fight for an injunction to block the ban. I don't care who you are or what your sexual identity is or anything else. If you're going to fight for our country and defend our rights as individuals, I support you. Right. And it's not about gender. It's about defending our country as a whole. And people dedicate their lives to it.
Yeah.
And it's a shame that we have to break them apart like this. I mean, and uniforms don't say trans on the back. They're not pink. No. It's all the same. They're not form-fitting. There's nothing about them that's, you can identify who you are. But if they're a good sharpshooter, if they're intelligent, if they're doing this, I'm all for them being, anybody being in the military.
Anybody. They want to defend our country. Yeah. That's it, And if you know anybody who's in the military, you know that they are
They're putting their lives to risk.
They're lifers. That's their career. They don't even think, even with Trump being president, they still want to protect this country that even wants to, not give them equal rights. And they still want to, protect this country. It baffles my mind. Okay. But that is how they're made. That is how they were made for this. And then now you're not going to allow them to serve our country. There's this incredibly beautiful transgender woman. She's a pageant girl. She has won a million titles. Her name is, Sergeant Altice Arum, and she is a beautiful girl. If you follow her journey, she's constantly posting. She posted today, "I will forever be grateful to all those who have been kind to me in my 11 years of service. While the future is unclear and ever changing, it's so exciting and I'm ready to see the world. May the next chapter be filled with even more love, support, family, and friends." Every day she posts something new that came out of the Pentagon or something new that they're trying to do the transgender people. The newest memo from the Pentagon said that they would find all transgender people in the next 30 days and separate them. Okay, in some way, shape, or form. How they will follow through with this, I'm not sure, especially since William reading the story, they don't even know how many transgender people they have right now actively serving.
Obviously, they never cared before until this came up. So why make a big difference?
It's
now
a
about
culture war issue, just to help with their raising money for their coffers. With transgendered people, first of all, we have a shortage of people signing up for the military.
Yes, we do.
And a big part of that is actually young people are not qualified to serve in the military anymore because of mental health issues and of obesity. So we need as many people signing up for our military as possible. And where have we heard unit cohesion is also mentioned in there, that, oh, if you transgendered people are there, then the units won't have cohesion within their barracks or whatever, when they're changing or whenever they're doing whatever they're doing. And where have we heard this before? This was the gay argument, why gays couldn't serve in the military. I remember back in the 90s with Clinton, and he gets a lot of flack for doing the don't ask, don't tell.
Yeah.
But I actually give him credit, because I know that he didn't care about gays being in the military causing a problem. He was just taking the next step to get us through. In the same way Obama was against gay marriage until the second term to bring us there. So we know that that's not true. And if you talk to any military people, they don't care about sexuality.
No.
They don't care about gender identity. They care about, can this guy cover me when I'm, out of this?
Can this person cover me?
Yeah,
That's
can this person cover me?
Yeah.
And the other thing is, we also have to think about all the other jobs because we're thinking about combat. There's so many jobs in the military that are just desk jobs. We need translators. We need people who are great at many things, engineering,
administration,
exactly.
All that,
So don't think your mind always going to first line combat. Transgendered people, they're all over. Not to say that they can't be in active combat, but we need these people. We need as many people that are qualified as we can get.
This is a tactic, I think, to really start changing history the way that they want it to change. Because, when you look at like World War II and Vietnam, you saw everybody, that was signing up or that was in the war. It didn't matter if you were white or black or gay or straight, for the most part, the people that identified. But, everybody, they served their country regardless, our country regardless. So, I think they're just trying to now just pinpoint, again, like a certain group and marginalize them in a way, and just, erase them, kind of, just say that they were not part of this. And I think that really is bothering them, that like there are transgender people that are in the military that are probably more qualified than most people, I would think.
Yeah, I can't fathom you going to a 5-star general or a 4-star general or whatever, someone high ranking who's a member of the trans community, and you're going to go take away everything, their whole entire career, strip them of everything that they've worked so hard for. And again, they're probably tougher and smarter than anybody in Trump's cabinet.
And you look at, I have to say, like, especially our trans men who are serving in the military, they have to work even harder, I feel like, in a way to prove to be in with the other men in this community. I mean, women, we already know, have a hard enough time being in the military. So to go through that process of change and then to dedicate their life to our country, and it's going to be kind of a struggle, but they're doing it, and there is cohesion within the ranks, which is great. I feel like it's a way that number 47 is trying to change the way that if we get transgender out of the group, then we'll work on the gays. Then we'll work on the women.
It's almost straight washing society.
Right.
It's scary. And if nobody signs up for the military and you're taking out all the trans people, then who are you going to put in the military? Who are you going to force into the military? The immigrants?
Right.
Going back to the lotteries or something like that. That's reminiscent of the great America that I think
Edward,
we're all
taking
looking
steps back.
for
Why
again.
not?
I mean, is that what we're doing?
It doesn't seem like far-fetched.
Yeah, by the draft dodger himself.
That part. So that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ plus story for today. I'm Otto Zielke, and let's queer up politics. DC Museum terminates Black and LGBTQ shows after Trump threatens funding. The Art Museum of the Americas in Washington, D.C. has canceled 2 exhibitions featuring Black and queer artists. The decision follows President Trump's executive orders eliminating diversity, equity, and inclusion, DEI initiatives from federally funded programs. Curator Cheryl D. Edwards said she received a call from the museum director, Ariana Aspona, stating, "The museum is terminated." Canadian artist Andel Gazain received a similar message with no explanation provided. The museum is part of the Organization of American States, which the U.S. funds heavily. Trump's orders have pushed Secretary of State Marco Rubio to sever ties with organizations promoting DEI. Gazain fears this policy means throwing queer people, queer artists, marginal people under the bus. This is kind of reminiscent of, what we personally went through in the chorus, a year ago. And, our state funds were taken away from us. And so that I know what that feels like. And I think you're going to see more of that on the federal level. You'll see a lot of picking and choosing of where they're going to probably want to put their money. But, we're a resilient bunch, our LGBTQ plus people, you may just take away from the federal. But you've got a lot of great donors, you've got a lot of great people, you've got a lot of great companies that are also willing to invest in the arts and culture. I mean, we saw this 2 weeks ago in DC with the Gay Men's Chorus of Washington. They were part of the National Symphony Orchestra, and that was canceled too at the Kennedy Center. So, I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
And we'll see more of this, of course, but that doesn't silence us.
No.
It doesn't take away our art. We just choose to put it in a different venue.
Yes, yeah, and we just get other people to support. Now is the time, like you said, Edward, for our LGBTQ and ally philanthropists that are out there. Right, right now is the time to put your money where your mouth is. We really need your support in instances like this. Where it's like, can you imagine? Well, you all can imagine putting your blood, sweat, and tears into an event or something going on, and then you getting an email with no explanation, just saying we're cutting your funding or all funding has been frozen until further notice. Like, it's March. How do you continue with the rest of the year getting an email like that?
Absolutely. And you know what? Whatever your thoughts are of DEI, this is not DEI.
No.
Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like saying, you know what? We're going to have to do Broadway musicals, but without gay people. All right.
We all laugh because we don't think it's possible.
If you want the best people on the job, you're going to bring in the queer community, okay?
Yeah.
So, just the idea that we have to go so far in the other direction to say, all right, well, we don't want everything to be focused on a certain minority group, to now saying we have to exclude minority groups from art.
Yeah.
How can you exclude a minority group from art? That's part of art. That's part of the mission of art. So this is ridiculous. Please don't use the term DEI in any of what's going on. This is just flat out discrimination against gay people who are so far disproportionately represented in the arts that are doing all the things that you love. So, I think you should let them know, the people, Trump, everybody, that you want your arts, and artists all across America and all the arts organizations, we need to solidify together and to have more of a unified voice in this, to let our constituency, let the people who are donating know that these are the people, this is what's going on, so they can make their voices heard, because they tend to listen to people who have more money, not the starving artists.
It's true. Edward, you were going to say?
No, I was. He actually just said everything I was going to say. It was fantastic. But I think I echo it. Really, it's just it's definitely something that we have to really invest in. In terms of our communities. It's something they're just trying to silence our stories. They really just want us to just not tell who we are.
No, and that's
the bottom line. And I'm going to be very vocal and talk about who I am and who my organization is, the Gay Men's Chorus, and that's my job.
Right.
Yes, yeah, and thank you so much for also mentioning that DEI had nothing to do with this. The rhetoric, right? The wording that they use has got people confused as to what DEI means. Get this, most people don't even know what it stands for. Okay, don't understand what the acronym stands for, but thinks it was the reason that the Black Hawk, fighter plane went down.
Yeah.
Okay, I mean, using that kind of rhetoric, like, come on, people, educate yourself,
You know what? Maybe we need a day instead of that whole, what was it, the blackout where we didn't spend money, that kind of thing. I didn't even know how that was going to work. How do you even track that? But maybe we should have a minority day off. And like, just to show America, what would it be like if the minority populations just didn't show up for work? We didn't,
and by minorities, you mean the gays, you mean the Latinos, you mean if you were marginalized or a minority, then let's stay home that day.
Yeah, you'll see how much we contribute to this society.
And we'll see how many people actually identify as something that maybe they didn't think that they were.
Right? Were they trying to leave the house? No, bitch.
Yeah.
I know you're straight.
I know you're straight. Get out. You gotta go do it.
And the interesting thing is this artist, I mean, this organization doesn't just pick a random artist. I mean, obviously this artist had a story to tell.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah.
And a very powerful one to be on display. And so hopefully he, she, they, them, whoever finds a great organization that will house their work, because it needs to be shown, apparently.
From your lips to God's ears.
Yeah.
And they'll probably become more popular out of this.
Right?
So
Exactly.
let us know who you are. We're going to support you.
Right.
But like you said, it probably took them months and years to prepare for this art show. It's like they just go, paint by numbers like me. But they go ahead and now it's like,
Bye.
window.
Sorry. You're
Well,
no
now
more.
also the artist, one of the artists was Canadian too, so that speaks to in terms of the border and stuff, and then how obviously international arts and culture is affected that way too, and they're thinking and looking into ways of how do you screen that, and that's so ridiculous. How do you terminate or screen art? You know what I mean? That is it's so weird,
Well, that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight.
Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm Von Biggs, and let's queer up health. Calling all tops, bottoms, and versatile men for the urgent need of, you've got it, colon cancer screening. Calling all tops, bottoms, and versatile men, I have written an urgent call for gay men's health in an article in the Holy Cross LGBTQ newsletter to staff and members of the healthcare community. It's colorectal cancer awareness month, and it's time to talk about something important, your health. Gay and bisexual men in South Florida face a higher risk of colorectal cancer due to smoking, alcohol use, HPV, and stress. Many also avoid screenings due to fear of discrimination in healthcare. But delaying screenings can be dangerous. Late diagnoses make treatment harder. The solution? Regular colonoscopies. Starting at age 45, they detect and remove cancerous growths early, significantly improving survival rates. Unfortunately, many LGBTQ clinics don't offer screenings, leaving gaps in care. That's why experts emphasize inclusive healthcare providers like Holy Cross Health and other comprehensive LGBTQ health centers and care providers. South Florida has a higher incidence of colorectal cancer than any other parts of the state. Nationally, it's the fourth most common cancer and a leading cause of death. Early detection saves lives. So schedule your screening, stay informed, and advocate for better health care. After all, your ass does deserve it. Now, we've had a lot of leaders in our community who have had colorectal cancer, and I think it's just important just to continually to bring this awareness to truth. So many people, it used to be 55 and now it's 45, and if you have a history, you should be screened. It's no different than being screened for, we talk about breast cancer and we talk about all these other cancers.
Yeah.
We just have got to do it. And the technology and the way to do it today is so much easier than it was many years ago. I mean, you still got to drink the fluid, and you still got to go through it, but it's a very quick process.
Yeah, that used to be a couple days.
Right.
Now, in 2 days, you're good.
But I pulled some statistics, and it was the CDC and SIR in 2024 an estimated 152,800 new cases is what they're estimating for this year.
Wow.
Which equates to 53,010 deaths are expected.
Oh, Lord.
So that underscores the importance of why we need to do these screenings early. And if
Yeah.
you're going, and while I love our clinics and what we have around here, and obviously in South Florida we have a lot of PrEP clinics, we have a lot of just HIV treatment clinics only. They're not doing these type of screenings. They don't have the doctors there, and we need to make sure that they're looking at their healthcare far beyond just PrEP and just treatment for HIV.
Well, listen, cancer, everybody at this table has been affected by cancer, okay? Cancer is prevalent, okay? It's in some way, shape, or form, right? And that's what they tell you. Early detection is key. Early detection is key. Why do so many boys in our community, right, that deal with butt stuff on an everyday basis have issues with getting this test done?
They're afraid, they don't want to do it, and they'd rather just not know than knowing their status. With cancer, I mean, you could prevent it or help it or treat it much better than waiting 10 years and it's far beyond. It's gone through your whole body when you could have taken 2 days. And I know it's a pain in the ass, but you got to get it done.
Well, and I think something else that deters people from also getting this done is relationships with healthcare people. You know, in LGBTQ, unfortunately, we go and we have our doctors picked out for us, right? You know, or we lose a doctor, we have to get another doctor real quick, and we're not able to get an LGBTQ doctor. We're not able to go to any of these clinics that are LGBTQ centric and able to go to a doctor that knows about what our community needs and goes through on an everyday basis. So you go back to the same healthcare provider and you're treated like shit, but that's your healthcare provider, so you keep on going back. You know what I mean? Like, and there's help out there. There's Holy Cross, there's CAN. There's so many different organizations now that offer LGBTQ doctors for our community.
Absolutely.
You know, at least ask the questions.
Right. Yeah. Get the referrals.
Get the referrals. And if you have any kind of history in your family, your ass literally should have been there at 40.
Right. And it's something that's so preventable because when you do a screening, if they find a polyp that would have turned into cancer, they can eliminate that. There's no chemotherapy. There's nothing, they can take care of that so that you have a long, healthy future of having sex in whatever way that you want to. And think if you let it go to the point where it becomes cancerous, some of the treatments that they have to do then will definitally impact your sex life.
Yes.
So if you enjoy sex and you want to have a great sex life, you need to go ahead and do this earlier than later. I had it done earlier in my 30s because I have a family history of it. Everything came out great. The most annoying part is, of course, the prep. It's not the procedure itself. You don't feel a thing. You're out. And you wake up and it's like nothing happened.
And your skin looks great for whatever reason after, I'm just saying.
And I was telling them earlier, I had a football team in mind because it was a teaching hospital. So
in your room.
If you're in the room. So if you're a prima donna, don't go in with hat hair like I did. You know, you might want to look a little cute before you go in, just in case.
Well, that is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. Now let's dive deep into this big LGBTQ story for today. I'm FayWhat, and let's queer up entertainment. An Oscars 2025 recap including Wizard of Oz, The Wiz, and Wicked. The 2025 Oscars generally was the least LGBTQ or politically embracing in recent memory. But the night's big moment came as the show opened. A stellar tribute to home, a meaningful tribute to Los Angeles. It was a poignant moment after so many in the entertainment industry were affected by last month's wildfires. Ariana Grande did a moving performance of Over the Rainbow from The Wizard of Oz. Then Cynthia Erivo walked on stage to sing Home from The Wiz. Then Grande rejoined Erivo to sing Unlimited and Defying Gravity with Erivo. The magnificent moment had the longest standing ovation of the night. There were many other highlights of the night, including out actress Queen Latifah singing Ease on Down the Road from The Wiz. Paul Tazwell became the first Black person to win an Oscar for costume design for his work on Wicked, and that was so deserving. There were other surprising wins, including the $10 million independent film Honora, winning Best Picture and 4 other awards. And as always, the fashion was notable, especially Ariana's opening from Oz in a ruby dress and ruby slippers. And if you look closely, she had a red high heel on the back of the dress between her shoulders. Everybody looked magnificent yesterday. Oh my goodness. Everybody looked so beautiful. Oprah Winfrey on stage with Whoopi Goldberg. Whoopi's leather kind of dress thing that she was doing. She was cinched. I didn't even know Whoopi had a waist. All right. So, I mean, Zoe Saldana is one of my, loves. I adore her. She's from Passaic, New Jersey, just like I am. She is, of Dominican descent. And it was just wonderful to hear her acceptance speech saying that, she is, the first of immigrant parents, you know, to be born here and to achieve such a goal of attaining an Oscar for a performance in Emilia Paris. That if you haven't seen it, you got to see Emilia Paris. I loved Emilia Paris as a movie, and I loved that it got a couple accolades yesterday. I did not like that nobody even mentioned the trans community when they accepted an Oscar that was about a movie that portrayed a transition of someone, you know. So that was I was a little taken aback by that. And like I said in the story, it wasn't as gay as I expected it to be. You know what I mean? But I mean, again, like, you know, a bunch of queers and musical lovers in one room. It was still queer.
Fantastic.
You know, you boys, did you see it?
The opening, of course, is queer. They didn't have to say it. When it was Wicked and Cynthia Erivo out there with her nails and Ariana Grande, I loved the opening.
So
they sounded just like they did in the movie, which shows what great musical artists they were to just sound as great as they did. And they looked amazing. I loved that vibe between the two of them. And then I thought, man, we're going to have to do this another year because Wicked 2, you know, has to come out. Like, they're really milking this for all it's worth.
Yeah.
You know, but they looked great. I didn't see Honora. I will now because it won so many Oscars. I was really hoping that Demi Moore would have gotten her first Oscar.
Me too.
But you know what? That just means that she's going to be in another great film, that some director is going to see her potential, and maybe she'll get it for another movie. The Substance was crazy. Did you all see The Substance?
I'm still affected by The Substance.
It was
you know,
wild.
And I loved when Conan O'Brien came out of Demi Moore's body yesterday in the Oscars.
I missed that part. I only saw the opening.
God. It was like her on the floor, like after injecting herself, and then him coming out of her body. You got to go back and see that.
And then with Honora, though, I forget her name, that won Best Actress.
It's like Mickey or Mikey or something like that.
Yeah, and then she did say that she stands with the sex worker community too.
Yes.
So, you know, that was kind of interesting. I was like, I didn't think you would say something like that in this community, but
yeah, and of course the fashion was amazing. You know, as they walked in some of those gowns, I was like, oh my gosh. But that was fun. But I really have to say Queen Latifah, because, you know, she's back from my time era. But the idea of what she put into this, and that was, one, she was honoring Quincy Jones. And reading about it, she was extremely involved with the production aspect, the costumes, the dancers, ultimate rehearsals, like over and over, like beat a dead horse type of rehearsals, because she wanted it to be perfect for this icon. And I just thought that was brilliant, that she was so invested into that.
I missed it.
You got to rewatch it.
I know, I have to watch it. I love her.
Yeah.
And the girls look beautiful, but the guys looked hot too.
Oh my God.
Never show the men's outfits.
Listen, can we talk about Coleman Domingo?
Yes.
I love that queer black man, okay? He is gorgeous. He represents all of us in such a way. You know, like, men don't get all the options that the girls do, okay? But you've got to seek it. You've got to make more of a point to make it like Von Biggs looking like Liberace. You know what I mean? You're right? You've got to seek it out, and Coleman does that. He was wearing this red blood fire outfit with some things on the side, some little saddle things or something, like with the rings. Like, he's just gorgeous. Like, it really makes me question my sexuality.
Call me.
Missed him too.
Well, the Oscars 2025, you could still watch it. I think they're replaying it today on Hulu, so make sure that you go and watch it. That is the big LGBTQ story for today. There is no other queer nonprofit media platform like this in the entire world. Support our LGBTQ stories by subscribing and sharing Queer News Tonight. Those are today's headlines from Queer News Tonight. These anchors represent the best of our LGBTQ and ally community.
If our community is important to you, share this news with your friends and family. Join the conversation on your favorite streaming platform.
Queer News Tonight is the only live LGBTQ digital television show in the world that is out of the closet and into the headlines.
We need your support. If our community is to grow and then thrive, we must tell our stories and bring them to the attention of the broader world.
This is the only place in the world that tells these types of LGBTQ stories in motion and sound. That is the passion of Hotspots Magazine, Happening Out Television Network, and Queer News Tonight.
I'm your anchor, FayWhat? And on behalf of these LGBTQ reporters, the incredible anchors of Queer News Tonight, including TriniDaddy, Haas, Edward, Otto Zielke, and Von Biggs. We will see you daily at 8 p.m. to our LGBTQ plus world. We hope that you will join us by embracing love, generosity, bravery, by being transformative and being queer. Good night.
Good night.
Good night.